live on both. Welcome back to the studio. So this is an unusual discussion today, and I would like to encourage you to ask questions. We'll try and get to them as quick as we can. I'm David Austin, and this is...
I'm Kristen, his wife.
And she's usually behind the camera, but today we're joining forces in front of the camera because we kind of had a last straw yesterday in regards to our sales sites and our media sites. Some issues there. So again, we're David Austin with davidaustingallery.com, and we're going to tell you about some of our trials and tribulations over the last 2 years in regards to social media and setting up our sales and things that we've run into, particularly recently, and the issues that are absolutely ridiculous. Some of the stories we're going to tell you today are just absurd. I mean, it's just absurd what we've had to do and the hoops that we have to jump through.
We've been really quiet about the issues we've had.
Because we didn't want to be throttled back or...
Throttled, but they've already, it's already become a problem for us.
So we're not going to spend the whole time complaining necessarily. I just want to put it out there for everybody so that we can start a dialogue, and maybe as a group, as all of us smaller creatives like yourselves and us, we might actually be able to start affecting some change within these people, these behemoths of Google and Facebook and Instagram and even Apple and all these other big iOS systems that are out there that are affecting the little guys like us, but seem to be benefiting the big ones. So this is going to be something that we talk about, and we'll see where it goes from here today.
Yeah. Normally, for everybody who's just joining us for the first time,
we just paint and have fun. We just paint and have fun, but not today. So as the headline says up there that you can read, we had some stuff. So to give a little background, I guess for about 2.5 years, I've been painting again really seriously.
Yeah, taking it as a professional.
Taking it as a professional. I've been professional all my life. I did public art, and I did large scale type corporate stuff, and a lot of ceramics and sculpture, and I was painting too. But then I had a 10-year hiatus, big life changes, and then I started painting on a fluke just because I needed to. And about 18 months ago, Kristen joined us. She asked, it's kind of funny, a little bit sheepishly, came to me and said, could I help out on it? And I'm like, well, yeah, you can help out on that.
And I owned a little digital marketing firm, so I've been doing that for a few years, and a website development company as well. So
she was building the websites and doing the social media for other things, and so the combined forces, and then we came out with the clothing lines that we had. And so then we had a website she brilliantly did where we combined the original art and the clothing and the home goods as all kind of one unit. Come to find out that may have caused some issues. We don't know for sure. But we recently separated that. So davidaustingallery.com right now is strictly the original art, and then the clothing company, which is being revamped as we speak. Kristen hopes to have it initially back up this weekend. It's going to be a separate website. It's going to be a separate entity, and that way it'll be easier for us to understand what's happening with the social media and the marketing, because it isn't working. No. We have experienced what...
And it used to work. Let me just stress. It's not like we've never succeeded. We were having a lot of success.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the iOS change came, and then it was just a cascade of everybody else then made other updates to the point where I have almost no control over how to target an ad anymore. I can't choose an audience for things like I used to be able to. I can't niche down. Yeah. So I spend my click-through rate, and my spend tripled, and my click-through rate, people who actually came and purchased, dropped to negligible numbers.
So before we get into too technical, and maybe we will avoid some of the technical unless somebody asks, but the bottom line is we were meeting follower goals and sales goals roughly 18 months back. And then we saw a precipitous drop. And I'm betting some of the rest of you have too. And I'd like to hear that. And this will go up recorded on our other platforms and on Instagram, unless they decide to cross.
Oh, Six Wheel, See, everybody's been, I think.
Six Wheel saying his Instagram's been suffering as well. And so I know others are out there experiencing this, and some big creators are out there doing the same, and we're going to talk hopefully with some of them in the coming future too, and hopefully they'll chime in, especially when we put the recorded one up. So we were meeting the goals, right?
We were meeting our goals.
The ISO changed, and then we had weird stuff happening, like the algorithm was suddenly
So some of you may know we got dinged for selling alcohol when we were selling paintings with using alcohol ink.
We were doing they were really successful.
And that is when
digitals.
my Google troubles began, because then Google flagged me after Facebook flagged me for selling illegal substances, which I was selling paintings using alcohol ink.
Yeah.
I wasn't even selling the ink.
No.
So it took us months to get the companies to realize that we weren't selling ink, alcohol. And then, I'm not kidding you, we had a week of a reprieve, and then they flagged our ornaments as insane.
No, before that was we were selling pets online.
Oh, yeah. We had a painting that labeled dog.
Facebook and Instagram.
They said we were selling live animals. So then they chopped us off again.
So they shut us down and throttled us back yet again.
So if you ever see some really strange titles from us, part of it is things that we won't get dinged for.
Well, but we've given up. And we'll tell you in a little while, so stay tuned on this. But there was one final straw for us yesterday.
Yeah.
That was just that's it. We're going to start talking about. People have got to start talking about this issue that are small creators, because they've got to pay attention to us. They've watched us on every platform, every iOS, right?
Yeah. And so we're going to get to payments next.
Well,
this was the last straw, was the payments.
Well, let's move on a little bit. So tell them about the ornaments, though.
Oh, God. So we get to the selling live animals and selling illegal substances, and then we put Christmas ornaments up.
Yes.
And they flagged us as selling grenades.
Well,
they were selling armaments and weaponry and explosives, and it was ridiculous.
That was what we were accused of. So we got shut down on that one. Can you believe that? It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And these are the major ones that we're telling you about. There's other small stuff that has happened over the last, particularly the last 12 months. But when she joined up with the company, it became
I didn't silent
dinging. You didn't silent it down.
I'll silent it.
So this is somewhat impromptu and all that. Mine's not silent either. So.
There we go. That one's silent now.
So anyway, that was some of the tribulations on that. And Kristen has been working really hard. We're on kind of an angle now, listing this way.
It's fine.
So, but some of the stuff that you've been doing, you've been running into issues with, particularly like Google listing, just simply listing our location, right?
Oh my gosh, I can't even list us on Google listing anymore, Google business listing, because we don't have a brick and mortar location that you can visit with a visible professional sign.
Yeah.
So I've been making Google business listings professionally for other companies for a decade, and I've never had this problem. And all of a sudden, I can't even list the gallery on Google Maps or Apple Maps because I don't have a sign on our garage.
Yeah. Well, then it started at our other place. Some of you know we moved not too long ago, right? And so we are watching comments to see if there's any questions. But so anyway, we before we moved here to Duluth, Minnesota, which we love it. We had our businesses, three businesses listed at our old house.
No problems.
No problem whatsoever. In that area, it was definitely a residential zone. It was no problem. And so people even came by and visited now and then. And we got here to Duluth in December, and we're trying to make the changes. We think it's easy, and it helps.
It should have been.
It helps make us discoverable.
Yeah.
Explain
on
that.
Images and on shopping and on search. So if you have a Google listing, it's incredibly helpful on search for people to find you serendipitously and then be able to contact you personally. It's an important business tool. It's usually very simple. All I did was change the address.
Yeah.
And they took us down. They suspended our Google accounts. I have been in a now 2.5 month long back and forth with Google trying to get those back up. And the last person, actually was a person, said that unless I put up a sign for each business on the garage, they were not going to list me because they think I'm a bot. And I was like, I've had 15 email conversations with you back and forth with screenshots and videos of us in our space, but I'm still a robot.
I'm laughing, but it's really not laughing.
It's not funny,
because they're destroying our income. I mean, they destroyed our income, which is why we have to say something now, because it's been tragically bad. But and we don't, it has become kind of laughable too, because it's just absurd.
Laugh or cry.
So she said, talking about the sign, and we know that. So we'll solve that, and then there'll be another thing after that.
Because there's always another
it's just
small
one
fire.
one after another. So we use, what do we use? Shopify for our website, right? Which was doing quite well for us. And then you started running into major issues with, what was it, communicating with the iOS or something, or with the payments and all. You had like multiple issues starting to show up. Worked fine in the beginning.
The social media platforms are changing their terms of service and everything. And I'm not kidding, like every 3 or 4 days. And if you don't keep on top of it, it disconnects your shop from the social media websites. If you tried taking it off Google and change, I tried that.
We did that too.
Either. They were like, you still don't have a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I attempted that. It's a good idea.
Yeah,
I tried it.
6-wheel, we did try that one too.
Yeah, it did not work.
But thank you for the suggestion.
So now
we're open to all suggestions right now.
So now I wake up every morning and I go into Shopify in the back end and I have to figure out what's been disconnected overnight. And I had all of my policies on, my return policies and all of that, the way that I've been doing it for other companies for years and never had a problem. And all of a sudden, you have to have, they wanted me to reformat everything. And so I got removed from Google again.
It's like every other week, instead of spending time on creating the videos and the reels and the TikToks, or putting our new work up, the new original stuff, or the new series of clothing that we're working on, that stuff she hasn't been able to do because she's always putting out fires. And we gave up. As of yesterday, we gave up. We're just going to try to revamp things that we need to revamp, and we're going to ignore the various iOSs and the shopping and stuff because we don't have a choice.
So anybody who goes to our website may have noticed all the clothing is gone. I removed it.
All the home goods.
All the home goods are gone. I removed them. Starting next week, we will no longer have our shop listed on Instagram and Facebook because they're forcing us to accept PayPal.
Well, wait, no. Oh, you did. You got to lead into that. So more. It's okay. Take a breath. She gets really irate about it, and I don't blame her. I was too yesterday, but so. Yesterday, she pulls me into our office at the house and says, "Hey, I ran into something today, another issue," and I was like, "Okay, fine, what?" And she said, "Well, they're going to make us take PayPal now on Facebook and Instagram, and we have had an issue with PayPal for a very long time because they take massive amounts of money from the person selling." And it gets very difficult, and we don't like using them. They're a behemoth that really we didn't care for. So we've used SquareUp, which has been a delight, and most of our stuff is linked through there. Well, now PayPal and Instagram demand that we have it, or they're going to take down the site. So you know what's going to happen is
we're taking it.
We're going to just let them do it. So because we won't take our site down. Our website's still going to be out there. DavidAustinGallery.com will still be there, but check the DMs. Yeah, we will. Thanks, Sikil.
Yeah, but we are no longer going to be selling through Facebook and Instagram platforms. You have to go to our website.
We assume they're going to take us down. So we'll just we had PayPal up, and then I said when she told me, I was like, forget it. Let's just we're gonna just blow everything up, so to speak. Not for real. Now they're going to try and
claim
ding
that
us on that. we meant our stuff. We're just going to tear it apart and redo everything and go back to old school stuff. So here's the new tactic that we're going to do. We're going to old school. We're going back to direct mailings, postcards to people in the snail mail, and putting up brochures around and promoting the website and the sales in the old way, and then continuing to pursue and add brick and mortars. We just added Lizard's Art Gallery in Duluth, Minnesota, and they were very kind enough to Kristen.
Hi.
Hi. So we're going back to that, and we're trying to get other galleries set up. We've got the one out in Southampton that hopefully we sent new work there, and so we're working with them to figure out how to make it work on their gallery and their platforms that they use. So
may I interject, please?
Go for it, please. Yeah.
What we need to say is it's so impossible for us to run an ad campaign that works on social media that we are literally having to go and print things on paper and mail them with a stamp because
in this day and age,
it's no longer possible to target appropriately when you don't have $1 million to throw at a wall and see if it sticks. And even the big guys I talk to, and I know from my professional background, they're all having a huge problem. and they're throwing millions of dollars at the problem, and they have no solution.
We hope so too, Ann. Yeah, we appreciate that.
And then you'd say, oh, well, use an email marketing campaign. Those don't work for us anymore either. We've been, and I don't know why, that was
the other issue is recently the emails. So we got automatic.
Can I talk?
Go ahead.
There were security updates in California that had to do with security and personal information and whatever. And there was a day in December where, and I'm not exaggerating, everybody who had subscribed to our email list in California that I could see that day, like all of a sudden unsubscribed within like 30 seconds of each other.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it wasn't people all of a sudden in the zeitgeist going, unsubscribe. No.
So if you're not getting our emails, something happened automatically with you. Six Wheel, we're still having we're still doing the social media.
Oh, yeah.
We're still on TikTok's been a lot of fun for us. For Kristen particularly, we're actually going to be pushing YouTube a lot more coming up. We'll still be present here. We're still going to do the stuff, but the difference is we're not paying anymore.
Mm-mm.
We're not paying for the advertising because it's pointless. It doesn't matter. So as a small maker, particularly, you're throwing money away. I'm just warning you right now. Don't bother to pay for likes or pay for follows or try to pay to get it. It's not worth it. So we've stopped until they can get their act together to help those of us that are smaller, like it was working. Social media and the internet is currently broken. That's the bottom line.
If you're a small maker trying to make
even if you're a big one, you just told
you
just said the bigger ones are are having troubles. What did you say yesterday? One of the figures was they were getting 12% sales versus something or other. What was the factor?
Yeah, so they used
major manufacturer.
Yeah, they have gone down to spending the same amount of money doing the same kind of ads, running about $180,000 a month, and they went from that being profitable to that making them an 8% return.
Yeah.
They don't even know if they're going to keep doing it. Back to the basics might be the new thing. Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're saying.
No school like the old school.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're saying, and that's frankly how we grew our pond business. The water feature business that I did for 30 years. I'm still doing it. I'm semi-retired.
It's like nobody in the corporate ever reads The Goose Who Lays the Golden. Yeah. That's very accurate, Tim.
Yeah, that's appropriate. I appreciate you chiming in on it for sure. And by the way, if anybody has any questions for us about things that we've tried or not tried, because we work as a team, and a lot of artists have to try and do this all on their own, and they don't have a marketing guru sitting right next to them through it. So please feel free to interject and ask a question.
Email us.
This is the time to do it. And this, as a recorded one, you'll be able to post it too. And if you don't feel confident doing that publicly, please message us directly, and we'll try to answer as best as we can.
Yeah, as you all know, like with the art, we don't gatekeep, and we're not gatekeeping with how we make a living either.
No, we don't hide our techniques or anything, because it's still a lot of work. Even if you know every technique in the book,
you still have to go do the work.
You still got to do the work. So we're happy to share. It's up to you to do the work.
Yeah. So anyway, we're just here to describe to anybody, when they see the changes on our shop and when they see the changes on our website, what's going on. We will be offering clothing again on a different website. I'm building it out this week. We will be offering furniture again. I'm building it out on a different website this week, because part of our wondering is if it was too much for the bots to crawl through and understand what we were doing. And so instead of trying to make sense, we got dinged for selling animals and ammunition. I don't really know. I don't. But the best I can do right now, so right now we're going to just build a few websites out and see if maybe we get a little bit of help from the provider for selling merch. Through Shopify, I use a couple different companies to drop ship, sublimation companies. So our favorite really is Printful. Their quality is good.
Still good.
Yeah, their quality is good. They ship timely. They're very communicative. And when there's a product problem, they always make it right. Yeah. So we use Printful. I would like to find somebody local, but I haven't. I've been honestly putting out flyers every day. I never have a chance to go work on the business because I'm working on the back end constantly.
Right. That's the frustrating thing that's been happening to us. And we're both like, yesterday we were yelling at the nobody, because we were just it was so frustrating yesterday. Every time she turns around and tries to do something, she gets a notification that we've been shut off somewhere or disconnected somewhere. Okay, you're on the same page. Okay. I'd like to know if anyone else is on the same page as us, really.
Going back to print ads and whatnot, because, We just don't see the
that's
point.
the old question there. I see. But so this is a good time to open it up and you guys ask questions about social media, what things we've done, what things haven't worked, what things are working. I will say one of the things that has made immense help for us and continues to are your videos, your reels.
Yeah, videos have been really good for us.
So people really like that. The other thing that's worked is being very upfront, being open on what is the question?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. The bots are crawling painting titles and taking them literally. Yes,
yeah.
That's exactly what's happening. That's why when it's an alcohol ink painting, it says intoxicating ink now on our website. And that's why if there was ever a dog or a flower mentioned in the title, it's not been removed because they're like, you can't sell plants or dogs. Yeah, they are. The bots are too literal, and there's nobody in control to keep an eye on what's going on. Do you recommend selling original art directly from your website? I have Squarespace. Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Claudia. Yeah,
and if you're doing it from Squarespace, I highly recommend you use pirateship.com to send your packages out. You'll get the best rates. It's wonderful.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure to share it.
Is there a specific type of content that works well, i.e. informative? You know what? Informative doesn't do so well for us. What does do well is just creative flow work on video form. The how-tos, everybody else out there is doing how-tos. We'll occasionally, like once a week, do an info.
Yeah.
But, to be honest, we spend a lot of our time making things that make us happy.
Yeah, and that comes through in the videos then.
Yeah.
We'll answer that question in a second, Six Wheel. I did see that come through. Six Wheel asked if we've ever bought followers, and in the very beginning we did. We tried it. We tried one for a week, and it did gain us. But the truth of and some of the people we followed back, and we kept, so we hired a company to do it. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. And all of the other content makers are saying the same thing. I really wouldn't do that.
No.
What is going to get you followers is honest, heartfelt, interesting content. I mean. And just putting yourself out there and being real,
Yeah, just authentically you.
That's what I couldn't remember the word.
The days of really, really curated Instagram where it looks like you've been to a makeup artist and everything in your home is exactly as it should be, those days are over. You did it for 5 days.
You tried it too. Yeah.
Once you realize how inauthentic that method is and how it really doesn't translate to the community and the network that you're trying to build.
It didn't translate to sales.
No, it didn't translate to
sales.
There was
no
at all
sales.
either.
It was strictly followers, and having a lot of followers doesn't always necessarily mean you get sales. It's the kind of followers that you get. We definitely have a couple kinds. We have people that are beginner painters and they want to learn some new techniques, and I love to share that stuff with you guys. And absolutely, we think it's fantastic. We're always encouraging people to #create without fear, right?
Always.
And so I would continue to express that to you all. And then we have professional artists that are friends of ours that have become friends, similar, that have high amounts of followers that are selling a lot of artwork. And the ones that are selling a lot of artwork is generally they tend to be ones that are in a big population base. Like Lori and Barbara and a few of the others that we know, they're generally in a big population base already.
Yeah.
So is there a story?
Yeah. Best advice for artists going the gallery route. Well, we are too, actually. We have a few galleries. Network is about it. Being involved in your communities.
Yep. There was a really good article in Art News about that I sent to you. And that was talking about I owned 2 galleries previously in a previous lifetime, and we would get solicitations all the time, and it gets to be very difficult as an art owner. And so I've been both sides of that spectrum. And the thing is, if you really want a quality gallery, it's generally going to be one that has discovered you. And how they discover you is not by you going in and forcing yourself in necessarily. It's by things like news articles about you in the paper. Like this is one of the triggers for us recently locally, and was one that helped me in the past. And then also getting to networking, like Kristen says, so social events. Mm-hmm. Right now, she's the social butterfly. Somehow she has like this cadre of friends in Duluth already that's far outstrips any I've had in my entire life. And I don't even know how she did it, other than she's just going out and being authentically her.
I am.
So that's a big thing. It's just networking, just talking with people, and asking them about themselves. If you do meet a gallery owner, don't make it all about yourself. spend some time finding out about them, what they like, what they don't like, just make it a social interaction. That's how art really does sell, I think, ultimately, is that connection, that network. So that's a small
the connection, the network, the story. So you need to, even if you're going the gallery route, you should still have some social media presence to reference them to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I still think a website is perfectly valid for
I'm so sorry, Sixth Wheel. I'm glad to know we're not alone, but I'm also sad to know that we're not alone because.
Well, and that's part of the reason we decided to talk about it, because I'd heard some of the other big creators that we know and some we talked to have intimated on similar issues, but nobody's just out there talking about this openly. And the problem we all felt, I think, is that we didn't want to be dinged, we didn't want to be shut down or whatever, but we don't have any choice because everything's been shut down on us. We're forced to stop doing things the way that we were doing it. So I would say, if the more of you that chime in on this, the more people that talk, and the more people, and we're going to try and get a group of creators together, ones that are in the 5 digits, of followers, to start talking to each other, and then hopefully we can relay that information to you. So we're gonna get that going, and I think that'll help a lot if we can kind of get over our protectionism on the information on how we made it.
Like a brainstorming collective of small makers.
So we need to start talking, and the big companies, the multi-billion, trillion-dollar companies, at some point I hope will pay attention, because small makers, small creators like yourselves out there are multi-billion, trillion-dollar industry worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous that they've cut us all off.
And we were all spending money, and now most of us aren't anymore.
I would suggest not spending money on advertising. There's no point.
Yeah, I've been telling my clients the same thing. Don't spend the money. Don't bother
it's not worth
ads
it
anymore.
Keep doing the social media, put up your content, do the video, stuff, hashtag appropriately. Mm-hmm. Follow. You know what the biggest one for me has been, and I told you, follow your intuition on things.
Yeah.
Follow your intuition. If it feels right to do something, go ahead and do it, and let us know if it worked. So that's the gist of it today. I don't even know how long we've been on.
I don't know.
What about ours?
In the 3 digits.
Well, that's a good question, Claudia, and I would like to hear from you too. Generally, so let me explain that. I didn't want to leave you guys out, but let me explain my thought process on that. And I'm not leaving you out. We definitely want to hear from you, and we will be sharing with you. The ones that are in the 100,000s, 50,000s, 36,000s and up of followers, many of them joined well before any of these issues came up. And they had explosive growth, right? So as a litmus test as to what's happening now, they are a really good barometer.
They have the metrics to compare.
They can compare what was before and what is happening now. That's why we want to hear from them, because they were here before a lot of that happened. And that's not to say that somebody in a 2,000, 3,000 or even 1,000 or 500. In fact, there's very, very successful artists that are selling like crazy, and they only have a few hundred people on. Jim and Candy are perfect examples of that. They have almost no social media presence.
But they're a gallery.
Well, but they were famous artists to start with.
Well, they've been famous for decades.
So it just depends, and back to brick and mortar stuff.
Yeah.
So, clearly for a lot of us, we just want to make stuff in the studio, right? We just want to make stuff, and we want to hopefully support ourselves in doing it. And we want to, thanks, Clay. I was hoping that didn't come across badly, so I appreciate that. Like most of you, I'd rather spend my time in the studio making stuff, and then I'd like to share with you about it, and new techniques and new products that we get to use, that we have the privilege of using and trying and developing. And so ultimately, that's all any of us want. Let's take care of our families. Let's take care of each other. So yes, let's support each other. Yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All of us need to, and that's what is the beauty of the online community. And one of the things that I fell in love with, and I never thought I would, I joined almost kicking and screaming to the social media for my art. And now it's a source into the world. It's a source for us all to connect. And there's no way I'd be where I am without Kristen's brilliance and technical skills and doggedness on getting something fixed or doing it. So I think that's it. Did you want to cover anything else?
No, but I'd like, anybody have any questions before we sign off?
Yeah,
today?
we're going to sign off shortly.
I'll give you a few minutes to.
Yeah. Anybody painting today? She always asks that question.
I do. I'm always curious to know who's painting.
We're going to be painting again soon. Don't worry. And I don't think we'll do another live today, but we'll definitely do another live paintings coming up. I've got some pretty fun stuff that I've discovered I'll share with you. And we've got a lot of exciting things going. Some exclusive paintings that have gone out to the Southampton Gallery. Some 5 foot by 5 foot. So they have a very nice collection of 7 now. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
So that is kind of it. We're going to upload this to a couple of our things, our platforms. We're going to be promoting this. We'll let you know what we find out as we go. And please feel free to like and share this. And you should painting now. Lucky you, Claudia.
Sign up for the newsletter, because if our Instagram account gets removed, because I have no way to get a hold of you or to stay in touch.
Yeah.
And that's another really important thing people need to know. You don't own your social media page, okay? You don't. They own it. They have total control over it. They can take it away at any time.
Yeah, I like the color crayons.
So sign up for our newsletter, please.
Yes, newsletter is going to allow for more direct communication about these items. You can get to it through our website, davidaustingallery.com. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's all of it.
That's it.
Yeah, through the website. Just head over to the website.
Yes.
I think we can all agree. No, I don't think we can. So I think that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you
so much, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. DavidAustinGallery.com. I'm David, and this is Kristen. Next time, we're going to be painting, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you have further questions, message us. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.